Hello, Shalom Ola, and welcome to the Spiritual Life with Mystic Reverend Travis Tidwell. I'm here in this episode 22 with my special guest, future co-host here, Ashley,
Hi, everybody.
High Priestess in training. I'm here with my daughter, Athena, who's always been a High Priestess in training since birth. She's in Sacred Dragon here. She's the executive producer. We want to thank her tonight for her patience and putting up with Dad here, but we also want to give the Lord God Yahweh thanks here tonight and props because without Him we have nothing. This podcast is brought to you by the Lord God Yahweh, powered by Sacred Dragon, which is a philosophy out and about. So, if you didn't know, you know now. On some level, here on this episode, we're talking about ancient aliens.
One of my favorite topics on the face of the planet.
Yeah, we'll have to get one of those computers we can blog and talk about the show while we're watching, and they can see us, and they can see the show. We can stop it.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, eventually.
I would love to do that because it's amazing. I mean, Ancient Aliens, these shows are great. Every show you see, there's one big key they're missing in all these episodes.
Okay, so what's the key?
Yahweh.
True.
Now, we show here that these aliens existed. Well, sure they did. Mm-hmm. We know that there's been many different programs of life here on this planet before us. Mm-hmm. It's amazing because when you look at, again, Adam and Eve as an example, let's go back to the Bible, especially the Old Testament.
Well, take me back.
Yeah, take you back. Adam and Eve, there was never no stories of Adam and Eve wrestling with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Adam had to stay home today. The dinosaurs,
Well, they skipped a lot of what I think they would have done in their everyday lives, correct?
No, not necessarily, because the Hebrew culture's been pretty true with their own history. It's called the Old Testament. That's just a history book. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Egyptians, as we was talking earlier. You know what I'm saying? They tell you where they come from.
Yes.
So when you look at the ancient aliens, we know then at that point that there was a lot here before this program came in as far as the Adam and Eve consciousness. This is a program we came in after a lot of the stuff was created. Of course, they did the big flood. They cleaned it up for us so we could get here and live. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened.
I don't think people really understand how long the Earth has been around for, or what history doesn't talk about.
Well, that could be true. I mean, we know that billions of years, and we see now through Hubble and all these new telescopes that there's billions of constellations just like this out there.
Yeah, and it's insane, infinite.
It is. No, it is infinite. As we were tracing the sign of affinity above our head and studying, you know what I'm saying, and hooking it up to that vibration. No, it is. And, it goes to show, too, that, again, when you look at the Bible, which I love the Old Testament because it's a history book. Moses is not a myth. Warning. Moses is not a myth. Warning.
No, definitely.
They still celebrate the Passover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not too many people really. I know a few Christians in my past that I've encountered, or not even encountered, that I've spoken with, and they would be like, "Don't worry about the Old Testament. Just go to the New Testament." And in my mind, I'm thinking I would really like to understand the whole story from front to back.
and there's so many different interpretations. I have been a Christian spiritual minister. I'm an independent minister now. It's like I said, it's just interpretation. Mm-hmm. But we know that back in the day, from the biblical record given to us as Catholics growing up and in this Adam and Eve consciousness, that, at one point God had to, Yahweh himself said, I want to clear this planet of everything that's created that's been monstrous or out of control. And the great flood came. But we also know from the Sphinx itself that there's been more than one big flood here on this planet. You know what I'm saying?
And so, how so? How do we know that there's been multiple floods?
Well, scientists have proven that in Egypt.
Okay, I have to look into that.
Yeah, you have to. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. What's the guy's name, the big Egyptian guy who runs the place over there? I can't remember his name. He's validated that before. Okay. Because they see that the Sphinx is older than the pyramids.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That I've heard. Yes, I have heard.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now imagine this, talking about the Sphinx really quickly, and ancient aliens. Are we doing okay? Okay. We look at the Sphinx. The Sphinx, the head is a man. Mm-hmm. Okay. The hind legs is the bull. Okay. The wings are the eagle, and the front paws are a lion. What does that tell you?
Okay, so does the Sphinx have wings, or is that a griffin? Is that the same thing?
No, it's not.
Because I thought a griffin had wings.
It does, but that does not mean it's a Sphinx.
No, I didn't even know the Sphinx had wings, so
Yes.
I'm learning something new.
Yeah, there's. Okay. So it has all the symbols of the four elements. Okay, which is what we've been created from. So these aliens have learned how to work with the four elements here on this planet on some level. But then we have now add the fifth element, which is spirit, which is Yahweh. So every starseed really that's different than us has come down here in a different way. We talked about that earlier. Because in Hindu in India, they're not talking about Jesus. Who are they talking about in India? You know, Ganesh, Shiva, Lord Rama. You know what I'm saying? All deities who I love and respect. In Egypt, they're not talking Christianity in Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Most of them are Muslims, and they still have a God connection. It's Allah. You know, He's the formless one who has many names, who is self-manifested all things. So you start looking at all these different cultures, different foods, different art, you know, the different dialects, all here learning how to share together.
Or that's the purpose of actually.
That is
here.
the purpose.
I don't know if that's.
Well, I feel that really, in a lot of ways, we are at. There's a couple of things going on. First of all, as we're talking about H&Ns, and you know, Spirit always says, if you want to know the future, look at the past.
Yes.
So things do repeat themselves here.
Yeah.
You know, and as I was saying earlier, this is, you know, the 7th of January 2021, start date 2021, and you know, we've now had a repeat of the Civil War, and it's a minute little session here on planet Earth.
It's been a little crazy.
Yeah, and so now I look at that as being the return of the Sith, and Donald Trump's the Sith. Okay, he's the dark power. He's trying to hold it. But doesn't that make sense? It really does, because really, as a people, we should be cosmic now, and the new generation, such as my daughter and all these new millenniums, they're not going to put up with any bullshit for racism or anything of that nature. They believe in equal rights. They're promoting it, and they're going to live it, and that's what they are doing.
Yeah, they're changing. They're changing.
And we need to be like the Star Wars, where we have multiple people at that table representing us. Black, white, brown, green, whoever, you know, yellow. I mean, honestly, it has to be diverse. It has to be. It can't be a bunch of white people who are empowered by money and greed and corporations and have lifetime jobs, which that should change immediately. Nobody should have any kind of lifetime term, who don't have the people's interest at heart. And they're not cosmic beings. We're now getting ready to live in Mars and on the moon and starting to explore. You know, we have this new space police now.
Yes.
You know, so why shouldn't we be acting more like cosmic beings and thinking of cosmic problems like Earth and the climate change and, you know, solar flares and, you know, what can we do to sustain ourselves here and to enrich this planet and to rejuvenate it? Nobody's thinking like that, really. It's very, very sad. And one of the things I wanted to talk about and share is when we talk about Ancient Aliens, you know, which is a great show, you know, it's always good to arouse the conscious mind sometimes, but you know, let's look at the story of David and Goliath. You know, that's a true story. It's in the Bible, and Goliath was a giant, you know. And they say that was the only family that survived the flood of the giants that lived here before.
Yeah, you were mentioning that.
Yeah, otherwise there would be all kinds of giants floating around killing people because there's only this one guy, this one shoulder. Nobody could kill him. He'd take out a whole army, you know. Seriously, this guy was he was unstoppable, you know. But at some point, David with a sling killed him. And who did he worship? Yahweh. And we all know now, and this is something that should resonate with everybody listening or watching this podcast, is it's not my way or your way, it's Yahweh.
Yeah, that's a great motto.
Yeah, well, it is, but we have to be in tune with the Lord God and with our divine source, which we know we say Yahweh, the Lord God. We have this title to some degree, but there's no way we can imagine anything really on some level. I know that the source that we claim in many different names is male, female. You know what I'm saying? and Ancient Aliens is not hitting on that either. Okay.
I think Ancient Aliens is like not hitting on a lot of things that have been
Yeah.
discovered as of lately.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of these shows that are missing the God principle. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
But do you think it's making it way too complicated when they're just having like a main point they want to come across? You know.
sometimes yes,
Might
sometimes
miss it
no.
out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
you're looking through mathematics, quantum physics, things of that nature. Scientists want to prove things, and
Because science is incorporated with the spirituality. It's
to a
like
degree,
kingdom.
yes, because metaphysics is a science.
Yes, absolutely.
And but we also know that Einstein's theories do apply and are real, but they still do not promote ascension and phenomena in some way as much as quantum physics does.
But I think that's eventually going to happen in the school system over the evolution.
Oh, you
of
bet. No, we're
time.
going to have what they call some kind of a jump here of consciousness. There's going to be a leap, a quantum leap of information coming to us soon.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. We're really on the edge of some stuff here. It really feels like.
Definitely.
I mean, I've been facilitating Keys of Enoch for 21 years now, damn it, and it hasn't happened. No.
So what would you explain to the people what Keys of Enoch is?
Keys of Enoch is a system of ascension. It's a system of information that will help you bypass death and resurrection and become an ascended master when the brotherhoods of light come here on this planet to resurrect and redeem people.
Yeah, and I've read a few pages, and it's definitely you have to use the left brain and the right brain in contrast with each other. To be honest, you have to think very broad.
Yeah, no, for sure. You have to have that creative spot open, but you also have to have the left brain open there to be rational, to solidify what you're reading. You know what I'm saying? What you're taking, and you're feeding your soul and your brain.
Yeah,
And
I can see that.
it's like we said, you want to be a spectator or do you want to be a participant? I'm a participant. What I do here, I'm a participant in the spiritual revolution. There is a revolution going on. It is spiritual. And
That's absolutely true.
and as we see the world changing, and unfortunately it's getting, it has its high points and low points here, but people are aspiring higher now. Look, in Georgia, we got a total blue state because people see the injustice done. They see the ignorance of these people in power who have nothing to do with help or promoting equality or dignity. And this is changing now. It's changing. We have a Native American woman running the interior here in the United States.
Well, do you think like aliens haven't made direct contact outside of the contracts, quote unquote, conspiracy theorist? Do you feel like maybe because they feel like humanity's focusing on so mediocre things?
No, because they've been here before us and they've been mining here and they've been using things here.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that, but I mean, like, don't you think that it should have been revealed to us? There's been signs up until this point that they've been real. So it's like right now humanity is in such a time of like war and turmoil and.
But I understand that, and the Keys of Enoch tell us that, the first aliens that came here, because there's different varieties there at some point, they are not connected to Yahweh in the sense that we are. Because when they came here, they brought information of metallurgy and things of that nature for engineering and design. They brought information of their world, but they also had to do testing on us as a species and things of that nature. And any alien that has to probe you or dissect you, ask you questions or investigate you is not from the source. And any alien you talk to in this world and in the future, they will all acknowledge the one true source. They may not call the source Yahweh.
Yeah, I believe that. There's a different name for the same
source.
Well,
I think the word source is going to be a big play here in the future. But, that's just what we're taught in that book. They say the second aliens that will come in ships not made of metal. They'll be made in ships of crystalline energy, like crystal of some sort. There'll be biosatellites. There'll be giant cities in the sky.
Which I think, like, on occasion you'll see on YouTube these random cities kind of, like, come in a ghostly, I guess, like, a ghostly form in the sky. And people are like, look at what's happening. And then I was kind of doing a little bit more research. It seems that sometimes, like, there's a multiverse and they collide with each other, depending on the frequencies. And I feel like that's crazy to even think about.
Well, that's very, very probably true on a lot of different levels. I mean, honestly, excuse me, they say there's people here now on Earth that have human bodies that are alien.
Oh, I believe
You
there's
know,
hybrids. That I do
you know.
believe.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I've been telling people this
well,
for years.
well, yeah. Here's a little bit of proof on that right now.
Yes.
First of all, the Egyptian culture, who I have a past life with, all their paintings you see are never of anything but anything of what they saw. They didn't have these little areas where they would just create different things, like out of imagination. And so when you see beings that have bodies of a human and the head of an animal, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, no, that I agree with too.
You
And
know?
they talk about that in ancient texts.
Yeah, I mean that they were doing experimenting and things of that, the hybrids, you know, the different gods and goddesses
Yeah.
that have commingled with human.
There's a specific one that was a hippopotamus as well. Just like they said, it was just crazy aggressive. Like they had to lock it up in a tomb that was just so heavy that like they couldn't even formulate how it was even carried, how they put the top on top of it. And it is a little crazy to think that there's like sarcophaguses that are that big, but what are they hiding, and why was the remains missing when they opened it?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's a lot there that's been unsolved. There's a lot there that's been unseen because there's people hiding that information. You know, they're hiding it. You know, the Vatican. Oh God, the Vatican,
like the
United
Vatican.
States, Canada. You know, for sure, along with the United States. I even feel Japan. I feel a lot of these countries have not really shared everything in some level. We know Russia's had a lot of contact with aliens, and that's something.
At this point, if you can dream it, it's possible. If you can think of it, it's possible.
Okay, well, I'll give you a quick story here about aliens.
Oh no.
Do we have time for executive producer? Okay.
Oh no.
So yeah,
Is
and
this the one when you're sleeping?
no, this is a story I met through a spiritual group of people that were alien conscious, and they told me that we've always heard for many years. Of course, this is before you were born. That they used to find cows that were dissected and the blood was drained out of them.
Yeah, they used to have it on
and the parts and
news
stuff
all the
missing.
time.
You know, and you always hear these stories about people being abducted. You know what I'm saying? And they would have these problems, and you don't hear or see that too much anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Crop circles either.
Oh, okay. And what I heard is that there was a high priestess in Peru that developed some type of virus. And she put it in the air, and when they come here, they can't stay. So there's been different things put in the air, or energy put in the air that has been.
Is that what the chemtrails are in the morning? You know how sometimes they get super cloudy as hell. They get cloudy as hell. America, I know everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. You know, and you're just wondering.
Oh, we've been talking about chemtrails for years, girl.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well, maybe they're trying to
kill us.
You know what's crazy?
No, they're trying to kill us.
Oh yeah, that too. That I believe absolutely.
You don't think that COVID-19 had anything to do with curbing down the population in China?
You know, I do find it coincidental how it broke out of a Bill Gates lab though, and then no one's really putting that out there either. You know, it's an extension of his.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I can't validate that, but what I can validate.
That.
Yeah, okay.
Google it.
Well, Google it. If you have any questions, that's Travis Tidwell Podcast at gmail.com. Attention, Ashley. Let's see what my notes are. So Goliath is another living proof of the last remaining energy of, the giants here. We also know, and we were talking earlier, that, the Egyptians were here when the Atlanteans here, so I consider the Egyptians to be the remnants of the Lemurians.
Yes, actually, I do believe that too.
And we know that Mount Shasta is another place where supposedly the Lemurians come in and out of. They have UFOs that come in and out of that.
That's in Northern California, correct?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there and hung out there before. It's pretty cool.
You're just man about town.
Yeah, well, I've been up and down Northern California, and it's other being spiritual. This is a beautiful state.
Oh, it absolutely is. I agree.
And we're lucky to have Mother Ocean here with us, so we can cleanse our auras and our physical body. Yeah. All the negative, toxic stuff that's been put in the world. And
as a Pisces, it's a necessity to be around water. On vacation, I have to be around water.
Right.
Like, I have to have water everywhere.
Right. No, you identify with that for sure.
Yes.
Let's see what other notes I have here. Excuse me. You know, there's also been stories in Native American culture here in this country of a princess. She wrote a book, and she had a story about these giants that would come and steal babies,
Oh no.
and they were giants, and I think she said they had red hair, and that one day all the tribes got together and found out where these beings lived, and they burned them in their caves and they killed them.
Okay.
And then, maybe 15, 20 years ago, they found those caves somewhere in the Midwest, and they found those bones of giants.
You said 15, 20 minutes ago?
No, years.
Oh, years. I'm so sorry. I was like, man, that was recent.
Yeah, I mean, damn, let's get the film on that YouTube right now. We'll put that on screen here with us now.
I was like, tell me more.
No, it was about 20 years ago, maybe, that information. I mean, it's a real story. I can't remember the Indian princess name, but she wrote that story about her tribe. Mm-hmm. And it's valid information. And they found the remains of these bones, and they said that the femur bone was the size of one tall person. I mean, that could have been,
I believe it.
Another one that's great, that's valid information too, from what I understand, is about the same time period. There was a giant fire in Greece somewhere that took out a lot of the dense forest. And there's one spot of the mountain and a part of the area there that has a red stain to the dirt. It's like red stained. Mm-hmm. And they're saying that when they went into the cave in that area, they found remains of bones of animals that didn't look like normal animals.
Yeah, I've heard about this, like different pieces of different animals like buried together to make
possibly. But they also showed femur bones too of giants.
Oh, I believe it.
You know, and that they were the Amazon, and they were saying that that's where Apollo, or was it
the sun?
Dionysus.
Dionysus.
Yeah, maybe that's where he fought the Amazon women. That's where he fought. And they said in the story, in the history, it said that there was such a bloody battle that their blood turned the dirt red. The dirt red. So
the blood stained the
dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, so to speak. And we forget. Again, we were talking about this earlier. The Greek culture, is that just a fictional history they have? No.
I mean,
how could it be? Come on.
To be honest, okay, I just have to comment on this. It's really funny how in America that we learn about the Iliad and the Odyssey, but we know more about that culture than we know about the Black people's culture here in the United States, because they won't let you forget that, but you don't know anything about that. I just had to make that comment. Yeah. I just had to make that comment, okay?
All right, so we're having our Black Lives Matter moment.
Sorry, I just had to throw that out there.
Well, but also too, and that's a good point. I mean, again, we're all starseeds here, trying to learn how to share and live. But go back to Africa. I believe it's in Africa or somewhere close to Africa, where that one tribe, the Dogon tribe.
Yeah, the Dogon. Yeah. Well, they'll just stare into the sky and they'll know exactly the alignment of the planets. It's like crazy.
Well, because they have a cave on their wall. Where all that information's been, transposed.
There's no crime. There's no murder. There's no rape. There's nothing. They're so cosmically and spiritually connected.
But they're also very primitive.
But you know what? That's
can't get TV.
But that's.
I can't even use my cell phone.
No, but that's the point.
She goes, but no, but that's
the point, though. It's beautiful.
I understand that to a degree, because there's my higher self who wants everything to be pure and healthy. But then I have my lower self that says, man, I need to get out of here and have some fun.
No, but thank God you weren't born into that tribe then. Thank God it wasn't you.
I used to go see my spiritual teacher up in Oregon. I'd spend a couple of weeks with him, and I'd have to get out of there. He lived on 20 acres of this beautiful land. And it was so quiet there that the ants and crickets made so much noise. They were so loud.
Yeah.
And you think, wow, this is trippy. I can't hear any cars, any sirens. I don't hear all this noise going on. And it really got to me.
No, that's how it was when I went to my grandparents' house back in Puerto Rico. And you're literally in the middle of the jungle. Like Toucan Sam is in your backyard. And literally the roosters are like crowing at the crack of dawn. Like I'm talking about like 4:45 a.m. But literally it makes you kind of paranoid because you can hear like shit chirping.
Yeah, well, you hear nature. You hear the planet. What you hear is this living planet.
Yeah, I'm not used to that.
Yeah. But so for those out there, looking at ancient aliens, I mean, we do see that every culture has their own history here and their own antiquity. America is the only country, only culture that doesn't have true antiquity. In any culture in the Amazon, Africa, they have witch doctors. They have a shaman. They have somebody there working and doing natural healing. They have somebody there looking at predictions and prophecies for their culture, their tribe, their family. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's all there.
Well, a lot of history I feel has been, well, like for instance, like not trying to go back to like African Americans, but a lot of it has been taken away. So all they have is just word of mouth and by, folk, I can't even say it, folklore. And
Yeah.
basically, and so it sucks because when the modernization of humanity starts imposing on these cultures, they start losing those stories, and it's harder and harder to keep touch on.
Well, yeah. I
And
mean,
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because those are roots. People do need to know about their past.
yeah, no, and hopefully they're educating their children so they can write this stuff down.
How many people, as soon as
You know.
technology hits, tell me how many people really are. During COVID, you know how many
Yeah.
parents stuck their kids in front of a little tablet? Everybody.
Well, I've had my daughter homeschooled for a few years now because she's been to a school where kids got shot and they had bullet wounds.
Oh, yeah, that's
She's
a no-go.
she's very sensitive, and as a paranoid parent, and I am. Make no mistake, my daughter is like the highest treasure I got.
Absolutely
So
understand.
no,
yes.
I pulled her out. There was just too much going on, and I'm very lucky that she's most of the time has her own self-discipline, to do what she needs to do. She has her own motivation, but not all children have that. But they do have a lot of good tutoring guides out there on the internet to help kids. I mean, this isn't rocket science for them to get through this.
This is how it is.
Well, especially if they have another variant out, and I feel we could be entering in this Aquarian age, this type of activity in the future with more strains coming out.
Yes.
And, people forget, too, that, some of the flu strains we have are alien.
You got to think about it, kind of like
No, they say they come in from meteorites.
No, like, Prometheus? Yeah, like, you got to really think about that
Prometheus,
movie.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, you know a little bit about Prometheus, right? Huh?
Yeah, it's like a really crazy concept, about how things got established here on the planet.
Yeah, no, and that...
Or a planet.
Yeah. And so, again, every culture has their own story.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, what story do I have? Well, God, I'm such a mutt with my bloodline.
Are you saying this in contrast with the aliens? I just want to make sure I'm
Yeah,
on board.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because again, I'm here visiting this planet, and before I was here, there were other beings.
Yes.
They made the pyramids. They've done all this different stuff in Peru, the Meridian, the Stonehenge. I mean, this has all happened, at some point. But we live in this Adam and Eve consciousness that takes us away from that. We know that God created the earth and blah blah blah. 7 days He did it, and then we've been here just living. They don't talk about, well, while Joseph was visiting, so and so in Egypt today, there was ships flying in, or there was,
they left out a lot of the
there was not really a lot of communication going on. It's like we're looking for more than one CNN channel back then. They didn't have CNN, so it was different.
Remember, I was talking to you about the missing pages in the Bible, or the missing stories in the Bible, or the scripture, I guess. A lot of people believe it, a lot of people don't. And I was explaining to you about the Sophia of Mary Magdalene, and it was like the most spiritual scripture I think I've read, if it was really real.
Well,
it's
really it's called the Gospel of Mary. Okay?
Yeah, the Gospel, or no, the Wisdom, the Sophia of Christ.
Oh, okay.
The Sophia of Christ.
I've always heard it as the Gospel of Mary. And what happened was when King James wrote his New Testament, he had the chance, him and his high priests, to use the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Peter, the Gospel of Thomas. But they chose the Gospel of John. They chose that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I feel it is but then you have to also realize that when you look at this book you call the Bible, that King James took parts of the Old Testament out of the Hebrew Bible, out of the Torah, and brought it in as our Old Testament, but he didn't bring the whole thing in. He picked what he wanted out of that. So the book that these people are willing to die over and hold in their hand and think that this is like the book of books, they need to reevaluate themselves. I love God. I love Jesus. I love Moses. I love all my heroes. But I'm not gonna live a lie. And I'm here sharing a new consciousness. And that's why we're talking about ancient aliens. So don't get too caught up on what's happened here in the past. That's been great. We know that other beings have lived here. Giants have been here. Monsters have been here. Aliens have lived here and dissected here. but things are changing. We don't have the stories of cows being, mutilated like they were before. We don't hear people coming out more about abductions, even though they do have abduction groups.
Do you think that, okay, so you know how there is this policy that was passed, oh my gosh, it's not coming to my mind right now, where they're filtering things on the internet, right? So they're blocking these things that are considered quote unquote conspiracy. And remember, we voted against it. So pretty much they're just filtering things that are coming in. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, maybe they don't want people, that maybe they don't want the American people to know these kind of things, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
unless you're in like BBC or if you're in like watching Bloomberg.
Well,
or if you're watching,
you're talking propaganda, okay?
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know if it's propaganda.
Well, yes and no. I mean, but look, Mexico government has released videotapes of their military air force filming UFOs.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it.
And we have.
But Mexico, not the United States.
No. The United States. Go on YouTube. They released a video recently of a bunch of pilots who. Those black ones. They look little on the screen, but they weren't that little.
But that was so. But you know what's funny?
And even still.
That came out actually for a quick minute a long time ago when it first had happened, and then you never heard about it.
No, I've heard about it again. I have.
No. I've seen it again.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah. No, I've heard it talked about a couple times on the media after that. But, and if you go to Jaime Monsoon, it's all Spanish, but you get a gist of what's going on. A lot of people give him their alien photographs and videotapes. And there's a lot of activity more outside of America, I feel, on some level. But the day will come when these pyramids will be reactivated in some way, and that energy will be revisited.
You think it's possible it's happening now?
To some level, yes. Now, remember what I said earlier. Spirit told me if I want to know the future, look at the past. So that is going to come back. Things are going to come back around. You said before, there's a cycle, there's a pattern here on this planet, and things are opening up now. And look at how, look at this. Okay, so 35, 40 years ago, there were no paranormal programs on TV, really.
The only thing I can say remotely close, was maybe like Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, okay.
Like, like some
and so we see now that through the planet rotating at a different frequency and the consciousness is shifting, now we're having more apparitions, we're having more poltergeists, we're having more information, we see more TV shows, I would never. I love spirit, and I pity any spirit that's stuck, and I'm here to help anybody. If you out there, you need some help, contact me. But I really feel like that's a door. That's an overlap of dimension that we're now a part of that we didn't have that connection with before, and that's why there is more activity now. And I feel that will just be enhanced coming up here. But we're going to get to a peak, a zenith, I guess. Of energy, of knowledge that's going to take us off of being in a government and offering about working and off being, what I'm saying? Because we're going to know that there's other life form out there who are intelligent and they are going to communicate with us. I really feel that's going to happen. Keys Enoch said, in our lifetime, Lord Maitreya will come back. So we'll see. I feel like you can go on YouTube, there's some great UFO videos. We live here in Southern Cal, so we have USOs here. We have the best USO activity than anywhere in the world. Did you know that? Yeah,
I've seen quite a few things actually on, more than YouTube, just on other,
Yeah, even Canada. I mean, their government and military have followed a UFO from the sky to the ocean, and couldn't follow it all the way down.
This is all old news, though.
Yeah,
so
no,
I
is.
just feel like people just need to be.
I know, but so is Ancient Alien. When you think about it, you hear the same thing over and over.
What do you mean?
I mean, about different beings being here. This is the difference.
Yeah, and I think that also proves the longevity of like how old the Earth actually is to be able to go through all these cycles, to go through all these beings,
all these experiments, all these different programs.
Because we really are in this sort of form of a matrix,
Oh yeah, you bet we are.
And then when you start realizing you have your power, you start really understanding the universe will start working for you.
Yeah, when you feel like you're connected to the universe.
Yeah, and it's so special.
And the best way to do that is to be connected to your source.
Yeah. Absolutely. Through everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. We give many blessings to all the planetary gods, the god Jupiter, the god Mars. I give blessings to all the gods and goddesses in this galaxy.
Yes.
They do need to be acknowledged. They're real. Or it wouldn't say in the first commandment, thou shalt not worship no gods before me. Why would he care?
Plural.
Yeah, why would he care? But he knows. That's why, You know, even in every culture, there's more than one God. My Viking buddy says even in his culture, they have 9 gods, and they believe one God is not enough. But we know in our culture, we know that there's emanations of God, and we all work through God. So there's a lot to be said about the divine source that's been here from the beginning of time with angels and angelic beings.
Yeah.
And it's funny we don't get enough angelical sightings. You know what I mean?
But like, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess my thing is too. I guess I hate how everyone has this misinterpretation about how aliens are supposed to be like so perfect, divine being in light. I mean, not everything is going to be in light. I mean, I do feel like there's light beings, but I don't think that they're going to come in this form of an angel. I don't think.
Well, let me help you with that, because what I feel is that you're right on some level, because, again, we've had aliens come here that want to probe you. They want to experiment with you.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are.
Well, that's like the
that's
dark
the negative
side.
dark spirit
Yes.
of an alien.
Yes.
But then you have new aliens, which, or excuse me, other aliens, which I do believe people have had contact with that might not have been negative.
No, not at all. And that I do
You know.
believe.
And we know that there are extraterrestrial beings coming to us who are monitoring us now. They're in cloaked ships. They could be hovering right above us right now, watching this
that's been
podcast.
going on for
That's
some
right. I got fans, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't see them.
Oh, jeez.
And you know, at that point, and so anything's possible right now. You know, and we're just so lucky that we're at the age of technology and communication and media. That, you know, we get to share this information that, there's been definitely aliens who lived here. There's been definitely other cultures and species live here who don't live here no more, you know. I mean, and look at it. It's kind of amazing when you think about it, because look at the Egyptians. They were having UFO communication. They were having ships landed and going all the time, I'm sure. And that culture was very powerful.
Well, I was thinking also, too, from the Keys of Enoch, that they talk about how to kind of like duplicate themselves from like Elohim, that they had to go down to the 3rd dimension, correct? And so everybody's an extension of God. And oh my gosh, I forgot where I was gonna go with this.
I don't know, but if you start quoting Keys of Enoch, you better bring your book.
Yeah, no, I was gonna bring it tonight. I totally
because
forgot.
that book is so.
Yeah, it's so deep.
I'd have to read
intricate.
the key and look at it and review it to give you how I would comprehend, you know, what's going on.
Oh yeah, basically that like I guess the closest thing to be able to carry the data storage of the soul was through the DNA of humans. So multiple beings came to this.
Sorry.
No problem. That multiple beings came to this earth basically to be able to hybrid so they can carry on the experiment, to be honest.
Well, okay, but again, you know, that could be true to a degree, but it's been programmed in different ways. Because, like I said, not every culture's into Jesus. Not every culture has an Adam and Eve story. You know, but if you look at the Tibetans, if you look at the in India, they tell you in Sanskrit back then, they came in ships of metal.
Yeah.
They tell you that. They know that. Even the Egyptians tell you they come from the belt of Orion. They tell you that in their history.
And I know the earliest teachings or the earliest writings was in the Vedic, correct?
Yeah, well, some of it. And the Emerald Tablet was the first writings, for what they say, but that could be questionable.
No, just the earliest ones. I don't know if it's the first
probably
one.
Sanskrit, the Sumerian would be, you know, that would probably be back the furthest. I mean, then you're talking about Babylon gods who were said that they were the ones who created us. You know what I'm saying? So
and it goes on and on.
It goes. That's right, and you don't stop because so that's why we stay centered. Right. You know, we know that we've been given the 10 Commandments because we know that Moses is real. You know, he created this Passover with this culture. We've been honored by having to be blessed by this divine source in this name that we've been given. Now, if we want to go to a different culture and worship him in a different name, we can. You know, I'm using the Hebrew culture as the foundation for my life.
Yes.
The mysticism of it, I'm not the regular Torah guy, but I do live by the 10 Commandments. We know that those are 10 scriptures of light given to us that we can live with other beings. You know, and so.
And that rings true for them as well?
Yes, you bet. Now, again, you know, there's a lot of philosophies out here. And this is one of them. But you know, I tend to stay grounded with Yahweh, and I have to focus on my reality and my acceptance and what I'm doing. Because if I was to, I could might as well just go to a different religion. I mean, go to a different culture. But I've created something for myself because I didn't like what I saw. And I don't think I shouldn't say I created this for myself. Spirit gave me this. And then it was just a matter of me sharing it because I have good balance and everybody I've been working with has it, and it's been very beneficial. So when you're looking at the ancient alien, don't forget that Yahweh is in the element. You know, even the aliens are created by Yahweh, and the right aliens are going to acknowledge the one source.
So they're all an extension.
Yeah, you bet. Most of them. You know, a lot of people get afraid of reptilians.
Yeah.
You know,
they're pretty sadistic.
they could be, but not all of them.
Yeah, so I've heard as well.
You
I don't
know.
even want to think that way, though. I don't even give that any thought.
Okay, now, yeah, and you don't have to because they don't like people of light.
I just let it go. What was I
Yeah.
going to go?
No. But, you know, you have to remember that there are different beings out there. We talked about astral projection.
Yes.
You know, now that's off the topic of aliens, which I didn't want to get off of. But at some point, there are different grotesque things created here on this planet.
When you read about
Yeah.
it just makes your skin crawl.
It
Especially
can.
on lower level
It
beings.
can. I stay away from that because I don't want to contemplate
Yeah,
that dark energy
exactly.
because then I
Don't
have to
even go there.
contemplate battling it.
No, yeah, exactly. Don't even go
And
there.
I'm
If
beyond
it's on
good
your
and evil
mind,
right now.
fight it.
I am beyond good and evil. I don't promote evil. I don't deal with it. To me, it's a very low energy mentality. You know what I'm saying? And I leave it at that. And the Ten Commandments is my sword and shield. It protects me. It keeps me in check, and it keeps negative energy away from me. And it's that simple to have a foundation. And that's why in the spiritual life, and excuse me, because my last couple of podcasts, I usually give you something to work with. And since we're talking about aliens and being grounded, you know, I would say get a piece of meteorite.
I think you might have given me one. I think I have one at home. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, get yourself a piece of meteorite and meditate with it and see what that does for you. Moldavite is a great meteorite. It's a green meteorite. It's so beautiful, emerald green. It only comes from Czechoslovakia where that meteorite hit.
Oh, wow.
And it's the only meteorite that looks like that.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. You can get some Moldavite.
I'm sure that's like super rare then.
No, you can get that, I believe, at the Mystical Dragon. If you can't
There we
there, you
go,
can get it at
Mystical Dragon.
Lady of the Lake in Temecula. Used to carry it. Yeah, I know Elena, and I want to give my props to Elena at the Mystical Dragon while I'm here on the air.
It's a very nice store.
And to
It has
Kat,
some really
Kat, the manager,
unique stuff.
they're doing a very good job. I've known her for many years, connected with her big time.
They're sweet people.
Yeah, you're a future psychic reader there, I'm sure.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
so that's what I wanted to kind of just share with everybody tonight to talk about aliens when you're looking at the program. Don't forget the element of Yahweh. You know, don't forget that, everything's been here, but it shouldn't overwhelm you. It should be this big mystery. It's like, okay, it happened. Let me still focus on now in my life.
Yeah, focus on yourself.
You know,
Just being
and
your
what I
best
and
version
what I
of
want to
you.
create. If you get yourself a piece of meteorite, first of all, you get yourself just a regular piece of meteorite and hold it in your receptive hand and meditate and see what comes to you for thoughts, information. If you get a green piece of meteorite, the Moldavite, if you put that on your third eye, boy, that'll just give you a lot of head rushes. You might dream weird that night or have some out of body experience.
I was just gonna say, as you were talking, I was thinking of
Yeah.
well, some of the stuff that comes to you doesn't make sense, and you're kind of like you have to piece it together.
Well, you need to write it down.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
when you're meditating and you're trying to get an answer, or you're working with a stone and you're trying to get the vibration, you want to write down something if you're not
Absolutely.
really understanding or comprehending what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been a psychic for 32 years, so I've learned how to work with my energy. But most people are still having a hard time identifying. They want that 35 millimeter film to show up. You know, and it normally doesn't happen that way. I get pictographs. You know, it's a memory cell, but it's not mine. You know, that's how that kind of works. But that's why the different stones are good to work with. So today in the podcast, I would say get a piece of meteorite. If you can get some Moldavite, that'd be great. I also believe, too, that you can work with it on your solar plex chakra, but it's here to help you communicate with aliens, extraterrestrial. Also, labradorite. I got some beautiful labradorite on right now. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Don't do it if you're not ready, though, too. That's one thing I want to say, because people go around messing with stuff they really shouldn't. So if you're not experienced, please don't do that.
Yeah, I had somebody come and study the keys of Enoch with me, and they got so freaked out from the information that they had nightmares every night.
Oh, I believe
They were
it.
scared to turn off their light. They're out there, and I'm just, it's like, no,
Well, that book's intense. Like, it's for an intense
It is, but
person.
you not only do you have to be open-minded, you have to be God-connected. Because once you're one with the light, ain't nothing going to happen to you. My Father's the Lord God creator. Now what? What can you do to me? My divine source created you. Now what? He created the devil. So what? My Father created everything. Now what? I mean, I hate to be arrogant about it or a jerk, but that's just the freaking truth.
Yeah, you
have to claim it.
Yes. Claim
Every day I say, Lord God Yahweh, I claim you as my Father, as I claim to be your son. Your wild-hearted son. Through my mother. I'm here for you, baby. Yeah, I'm here for Yahweh, but I'm allowed to be a man. I came here as a man. I'm learning how to live with flesh and with spirit. It's all about balance. And one thing the aliens have that we don't is a body that doesn't have the emotions and stuff that we do. They're a different being. They're evolved. They could be from our past, but
I was going to say, I heard that they're from our future coming back, and there's a fight for a timeline.
Yeah,
there's a fight for timelines.
I'm not sure about all that, but I will say this, that we're evolving. We're in population 1, getting ready to go to population 2, but we are heading to the 5th dimension. And when we get to the 5th dimension, we'll be commingling with aliens, many different types of cultures. We'll be commingling with our loved ones. We were just talking. I'm not reincarnating here. Neither is she. Nobody is. My grandparents haven't reincarnated. I guarantee you that. And a lot of people's parents and children have not reincarnated, and I guarantee you that. Now, not all of them are that way. I'm sure there's, like I said, there's different standards for different souls, but the majority of them are not. They're waiting in heaven for us, either to die and meet him, then waiting for the big judgment day, which could be what we feel would be the day of reprogramming, you know, and then we will go to the 5th dimension either through Merkabah, which is what we're preparing for now, or we'll go on the biosatellite given to us by Yahweh, and they'll go on a physical way.
So it's like either when you create yourself on a spiritual level, or someone has to come pick your ass up. Basically.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, that's the way it's been taught to me now. Anything can be changeable. This is something that I adhere to because it's written by J.J. Hertog. I really shouldn't be promoting him because I'm a what do you call that? Rebel teacher. But, you know, I got to give him props on that. So, yeah. But I want to thank you for being here with me on this podcast. I look forward to podcasting. I love having you here and sharing with you. Athena, I want to thank you this night for being the executive producer. So those of you out there who want to spend some big money, she's available for $1 million a month. 30 days, $1 million, and she'll produce anything you want. She is the bomb producer. I love her with all my heart. And I want to thank everybody out there. I'm looking into the camera now. I want to thank you, like I said, I want to thank everybody on the camera out there. I want to thank all of you out there who are watching this podcast. I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. God bless you. May the Lord God bless you, your family, your loved ones, your pets, and many blessings. And I hope to see you and hear from you again. Peace and love.
Bye.
Time has come to rearrange. Time has come for a change.